Your Excellency, Ashud Ahmad, Ambassador of People, Republic of Bangladesh, Mr. Jafar Al-Saraf, Vice President, Bangladesh Forum, Qatar, Vice Chairman of Gulf Exchange, Mr. Nasir Ijaz Bijoy, Country's Chief Executive Officer, Standard Chartered, Bangladesh, Mr. Sheikh Fazal Fahim, President, Federation of Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industries, distinguished guests, my fellow bankers, ladies and gentlemen. What an interesting and exciting seminar, rather webinar, it turned out to be. Full of substance. Nasser was spot on. His Excellency Ambassador has been prolific in terms of his pursuit of his mission and how he was integrating in the last 5 years. Truly, he inspired me to set up this forum of exchanges time and again. We met, and now Bangladesh Forum itself is his thought leadership, and he inspired me to set up our footprint in Bangladesh, and I fully endorse Mr. Nasser's view. It's a hidden secret, a country of great substance, good financial stability, absolute political stability, and in terms of convergence of economics and politics, it's a resounding success, no question. And our experience with the Bangladeshi banks has been very profound, and we want to be a partner in building these two blocks, Qatar and Bangladesh, in terms of trade, investments, banking, and finance. So essentially, the commentaries which came from both the gentlemen were absolutely meaningful, and it's a country which is going to really transform from ordinary to extraordinary. Already it has moved to middle income, and it is poised for a defining moment for the next 5 years. And its economic fundamentals are reassuring. The policy governance has been exemplary, and it's a country where one can repose absolute confidence in terms of trade or investments, and banking, of course, is a professional intermediary job, which definitely will do that. Now I have to showcase Qatar. Nobody has showcased Qatar, so I thought it's appropriate to bring in Qatar. In global terms, what's happening is truly challenging. This is a changing phase of the world. Nearly 22 million people are impacted on account of COVID. 777,000 people are no more. The economic risk, social risk, environmental risk, and human risk are all being mapped now in terms of absolute convergence, in terms of risk integrations, and we are trying to protect the humanity and human dignity. That's what exactly everyone is engaged in global terms. The global economy is going to contract nearly 4.9%. Advanced economies are grossly underperforming to the tune of 8%. And again, developing economies, emerging markets, is going to contract nearly 3%, and Bangladesh is an exception. No question. What Ms. Nasser mentioned is true. And China is indicating some sense of positive momentum. But looking at the overall financial stability and the current momentum, I'm sure if you extrapolate for this year, 2020, Bangladesh will turn out to be quite positive in its form and substance in terms of gross domestic productivity, no question. So in terms of the specific presentations, I'm going to showcase what Qatar is all about. Meanwhile, everyone is engaged in redefining every economy. The fiscal prudence, the monetary measures, fiscal measures have been taken. over 25 trillion has been placed across the globe in terms of financial stability. Everyone is lowering the interest rate, and Federal Reserve has made it very clear there could be no more changes in terms of interest rate for the foreseeable future. So you can understand the purpose is to make sure that the liquidity crisis doesn't move into funding and solvency and sovereign issues. We have to improve the liquidity, improve the debt servicing capacity of individual or institutions to make sure we generate sufficient repaying capacity for their debts. So all the indicators, the Financial Stability Board has indicated the goalposts have been changed in terms of capital rules or risk management framework, including IFRS 9 accounting or valuation or securitization. So we are in transitory phase in terms of global finance, but there are opportunities cropping up. Countries like Qatar or Bangladesh can come together and create opportunities in this defining moment. What is Qatar is all about? A country which was just generating $8 billion in 1995 today is costing over $200 billion. Of course, there is going to be a definite contraction this year. There will be current account deficit, there will be fiscal deficit. But let me show you some of the specific. I'm going to skip the global economies because
the US.
Again, European Central Bank or the rest of the technocrats, whether it is Bank of Japan or Reserve Bank of India, Reserve Bank of Australia, along with the regulatory framework they have conceived, we have to necessarily lower the interest rate and also improve the additional liquidity, as I said. Qatar has done a similar concerted focus and action, and clearly Qatar economy is poised for growth. His Excellency Ambassador has mentioned about the Qatar 2022. A lot of vibrancy is getting set in terms of hydrocarbon as well as non-hydrocarbon. I'm going to show you some of the glimpses for the sake of showcasing some of the Bangladeshi institutions. I want to impress upon, we invite in Qatar the Bangladeshi companies, the small or medium-sized or big enterprise. We want to associate with you to showcase the opportunities. We will disseminate. We'll work with our partners like Bangladesh Forum or Chamber of Commerce, or partners like the banks who are supporting the committed missions. Along with the embassy's stand, we will ensure we welcome you to Qatar. What is this Qatar economy is all about is a first glimpse. Let me show you Qatar.
Located on the region's busiest shipping route, Qatar is perfectly positioned for international trade, with direct air and sea connections to Asia, Africa and Europe. Qatar is becoming a leading destination for next-generation business models. Its thriving, knowledge-based economy has helped secure its place among the most competitive business environments in the world, an ideal destination for foreign investment. The past 4 decades have seen a 9-fold increase in Qatar's population to 2.7 million. The current political blockade by neighboring countries has only served to strengthen the nation's self-sufficiency, and strategic investment continues to accelerate. Qatar has already spent $33 billion on infrastructure projects, with new contracts to be awarded over the next 3 years, not least with the 2022 FIFA World Cup on the horizon. The national strategy, Vision 2030, is even more ambitious. Qatar is known as the world's leading supplier of liquefied natural gas and a leading player in aviation and sports and the media.
Like any other central bank, Qatar Central Bank, along with the government of Qatar, has pumped in 75 billion Qatar riyal, that is $20.5 billion US. Again, postponing the debts, installments as well as the interest, creating a guarantee program through Qatar Development, the Apex Bank, which supports the small and medium-sized entrepreneurs, and again, joint risk participation with the commercial banks like Doha Bank and other banks. So essentially, the momentum is on in terms of the liquidity of makeup to ensure we productively deploy our resources to have financial stability. We move from disaster recovery to business continuity. The central bank measures are very many. I'm not going to detail it.
But as I mentioned, regarding the North
Energy.
Field, we are full steam ahead. We are, as we have mentioned in the past, we're going to be awarding all our contracts for North Field expansion project. We have two phases, the east and the south expansion. We're going to go from 77 million tons per annum to 110 million tons per annum by 2025, and then up from 110 to 126 by the year 2027. We've ordered all the shipping requirements, and we've booked slots for about $20 billion we've announced just a couple of weeks ago, and that's at a cost of around $20 billion US, and we've booked up 60% of the entire world's capacity of building LNG ships. So these, we call them our moving pipelines, if you will, but that's to have our full supply chain up and ready by the time we have all the developments in place.
So that's the level of hydrocarbon growth we are envisaging. So as on date, 77 million metric ton is going to move to 110 by 2025, and again moving to 127 by year 2027. So that means 6 million barrels of oil equivalent if I put in one fabric. And that's the kind of financial stability we are talking about. A small country with less than 2.8 million population, and essentially a double-A-rated country. So we have definite reasons for us to build this partnership, and Qatar can invest again. Qatar financial stability is proven in multiple forms. If I have to elucidate further, if I say 200 billion, 190 to 200 billion dollar is the GDP, nearly 380 to 400 billion is the external assets, plus the central bank cash and the gold reserves put together. So twice of the GDP is the reserves, and that's what is exactly the financial stability is all about. We have seen the reflection of Bangladesh financial stability as well. It's a good story. Now, we talked about FIFA. These are engineering marvels. The stadiums have been well built in. We welcome you all to the So not only FIFA Stadium, that non-hydrocarbon momentum has been exemplary. The modernization of the complete infrastructure, airport, seaport, road, rail, has been of very high quality and state of the art. And that's the kind of infrastructure creations in multiple form and substance has been set in for futuristic options. As His Excellency has mentioned, we had a defining moment in 2017 when we had this blockade. It turned out to be a value proposition which was driving towards self-reliance. Yes. We have moved from plan A to plan B very successfully, including the seaport. And the airport is a classic story. It is doing well. I'm going to skip for want of time. Again, watch this. We have investment profile in terms of exchange-traded funds, and institutions can invest. Similarly, we are also going to explore now the equity investments in Bangladesh equity market. Nasser has mentioned about development bonds. We will look at objectively how government bonds we can invest. There are plenty of opportunities for us to synergize in terms of B2B, banks to banks, and also We have a silver bullet solution in terms of investments for exchange-traded funds. Free zones.
Authority is establishing a cluster of free zones, including Ras Bafuntas, located beside Hamad International Airport, the best airport in the Middle East, and Al Hool, with direct access to Hamad Port, the world's biggest greenfield port development. Qatar free zones offer foreign investors 100% ownership, zero customs duty and corporation tax, no individual income tax, quick building permits, and access to a skilled workforce. On the ground, free zones also provide fully serviced plots, dedicated security, hotel and retail facilities, as well as advanced broadband to ensure optimal connectivity. While Qatar welcomes investment in any sector, exciting opportunities already exist in logistics, e-commerce, food packaging, pharmaceuticals, and plastics. With an eye to the future, we're also focused on disruptive industries, such as renewable energy, power storage solutions, and artificial intelligence. Be part of the Qatar Free Zones initiative, with everything in place, from essential infrastructure and facilities to ease of shipping and customs. Your business can flourish as a truly global player in partnership with the Qatar Free Zones Authority.
These are glimpses for to show you some of the infrastructure and the policy framework in terms of business competitive offerings Qatar has set in over the years now. I call upon the Bangladeshi companies to set up the infrastructure here and create a global gateway from Qatar and industrial zone and free zones. And our representative office can coordinate with you to give you the sufficient coordination. And we have a very clear focus in terms of supporting the small and medium-sized entrepreneurs. For the debt side, we have our own programs called Tadweer, Doha Bank. I'm going to call upon my colleagues now to share a few points on this. We also have joint risk participation with Qatar Development Bank for equity funding. Debt can come from commercial banks, and equity can come from Qatar Development Bank. If you have know-hows, we can give you the model in total terms. Many of the companies are globally stepping in, and we are facilitating over the years. So that's my point. In case if anyone wants to invest in terms of short-term or medium-term, one single silver bullet solution, that is Qatar exchange-traded funds. It turned out to be a good return as well from our side for institutional investors. Yeah. And also I would like to make sure that Qatar investment authorities, we will put you across some of the projects which you're embarking on: environment, infrastructure development, drug. In fact, Ambassador rightly mentioned, we had a seminar in 2018. Again, this year, beginning when it was exhibition cum seminar was a classic one. It was extremely well managed, and a lot of opportunities were showcased. I think we should explore in terms of investment as well, whether apparel industry or pharmaceutical industry, infrastructure investments. We should explore, and we should have frequency of regular dissemination of information. That should be the trade as such is happening, but it is close to 1 billion, mainly tilting towards LNG supply, which commenced in 2018. I think that this year it was delivered again, January 2020 it was delivered. But I think the bigger opportunity lies in synergizing trade, investment, banking, and finance, which we'll continue to do. Now we will showcase them the FinTech Hub. Now it's evolving to be a fine combination of integration of FinTech business, startup, also incubator companies are there. We want to welcome Bangladesh companies who wants to have a global gateway, as I earlier said. If they want to export from here, using this as a midpoint, we can explore also. We will facilitate the debt side, equity side, incubate them and give them the infrastructure to start with, and then move on to be in the global frame. So that also we'll explore in overall terms. Just to conclude, the Emir of Qatar has visited And subsequently, the Prime Minister Bangladesh was here as well in 2016. And Bangladesh Forum has been quite active now. We will ensure we work with them to see the possibilities in synergizing in total terms.